Hello, everyone. Ohio gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohio Anime. I don't know what that was all about. Some extra screen being shared there, but we've got to figure it out. My name is John. Irashaimase. This is the anime podcast that doesn't take place in the morning. Go figure. But it is morning in Japan, so that's how we're going to get away with it. Today, we're going to be talking about My Happy Marriage. Not my literal happy marriage, if that's confusing at all, but the show My Happy Marriage on Netflix, the anime version. They have a season one that has been out for a while, and I finally got around to finishing it. So we're going to be discussing that, and we'll have Andrea in here hopefully soon as well to chime in and see what her thoughts are. Before we get there, we'll talk a little bit about what I've been consuming in the world of anime, and we'll see what Andrea thinks about or what she's been watching as well. Maybe my list is going to be interesting because it's going to be more along the lines of what do I plan to watch or consume here. Because I've really been out of the anime loop for a minute here, and that's kind of too bad. I'm not sure. Just recently, it seems like there hasn't been a lot of TV watching going on here, and hopefully that changes soon. There's some shows coming out. Like my list of expected things is getting bigger. I've really been waiting for Don to Don, which is still coming in October, so a little bit of a wait on that yet. And on the anime front, that's the big one. And then for movie, still waiting for the Chainsaw Man movie. So those are things that are anticipated. Okay, we got Andrea in here. Andrea, you're tiny in the corner. What's going on?
Goodness.
There we go.
Relegated to the corner. Nobody puts Andrea in a corner.
Yeah. You are very quiet.
Oh, okay. I'll check my microphone settings.
Because I got you pretty high here yet, too. So
sure. I'll talk like this until I get my microphone settings up to date. But hi.
Hi. It's been a little minute here since we've had an anime podcast. I feel like it's overdue. Last one,
very true.
We talked with Phil and kind of just went through a lot of what we've been watching. And I can't recall if there was a main topic, but we definitely got one tonight. So that'll be good.
Yes, we do.
And then while you're poking with that, a couple of things I wanted to, again, I've been telling everybody I've been sort of out of the anime loop, hoping to fix that. I've got a couple things on the anime side, hoping to watch Terminator. We're going to cover that for the podcast.
That's right. That's right. I am hoping to watch that.
And then Elfen Lied is one that... that's an older one, and Ashley is excited to watch it. So we got to get going on that. This is one that, I mean, I remember back in the day just seeing... What's that?
I feel like Mike, sorry, I'm looking at my microphone. I feel like Luke told me about Elfen Lied.
Yes. Luke is a fan of Elfen Lied. He watched it back in the day, back when they still watched anime. That was one that was he really liked, and it's got a very, very memorable, violent opening. And I don't think you can really find this on a streaming service. That's why I had to buy it, and it seemed like one that might disappear if you didn't end up, having it somehow physically or whatever, owning it. So that one's coming soon to my watch schedule, along with Terminator. And then Heavenly Delusion. I think I don't know if I showed this off last time or not, but I got volume 7 in. It was like delayed a while and all this different stuff, and then all of a sudden, from its next delay, it was available sooner. So I delays in releases
Mhm.
are tough because this is my favorite manga I've ever read thus far. And so you think like day one when it shows up at my door, I'd be like reading it right away. But you gotta like get back into it, you know, get the mindset again, pick up where you left off, all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So I do mean to get into this. And then I did just tonight order a copy from Malaysia of the anime, a 13 episode anime adaptation of this. So
Okay.
that should be on its way as well here. And then the last thing that I've got going on with this is I got volume 7 of Die Dark. And so that's, I haven't started that yet, but hopefully soon. It's one that I'm like, it's a lot of zany fun. I'm hoping it I don't know. The last volume was still really good, but I think I'm waiting for something more now. And for those that don't know, this is the same creator as Dodo Hey Dodo, so it's definitely wacky like that. But yeah, that's what I got going on. How about you? Anything in the anime manga world? Oh, now I can't hear you at all, Andrea. Even worse.
Well, this is going really well.
I can still never get the opening of this perfect. Like today was extra not perfect, but there's other times it's just for whatever reason it's always a little bit of a delay, and I like cut it out when it goes
Sure.
whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, we've been having all sorts of like technology fun over here because of the storms. Like our internet's been going in and out and
oh,
um yeah, like phone lines are kind of being weird. So, yeah, we've had all kinds of fun today.
I didn't know you guys were getting storms out there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
it's
if I suddenly disappear, it's
okay.
that's the mystery right there. Mystery
All
solved.
right, mystery solved. All right, no need for Detective Conan on this one. um Oh yeah, we did watch a couple episodes, which is easy to do, of
Italia.
um Natalia. Yeah,
Yeah.
just for the heck of it. So
That was fun. I
mhm.
do enjoy revisiting Italian, especially now that like Chris is a little more introduced to the anime world. Um,
Yeah,
I think it makes a lot of sense for him. Like I said when we were watching it, like the topic and the content makes a lot of sense for him. It's just like not a first anime to introduce
yeah,
people to. So,
yeah. It can be interesting going back to something from your past. Does it still hold up? Do you still like it, or
mhm.
is something that maybe you thought was really out there? Now you've like, yeah, I've seen that kind of thing. It's tame by
Yeah.
comparison. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
well,
I think for me, even though I loved it right away, like I still was sort of like getting used to Oron Host Club. Like
mm,
that was like there were parts of it that were a little like, "Woo, that's a lot right now." And now I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so cute."
yeah, yep, yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. It's really interesting why that is exactly because like the youth of today doesn't seem to have is I suppose it just grew up with it. So I mean,
Mhm.
I grew up with anime, but even then there was, it's a certain stuff that gets brought over here and it gets
Yeah.
weird and then people that are, your parents are seeing it over your shoulder or whatever and it's like
Mhm.
that's very odd. And yeah, I don't know. Now
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
ubiquitous.
yeah. Well, I mean, I still yes and no. I mean, yes, but also like there's still I think sometimes that like that stigma of you have to pick something serious to like or talk about. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like the goofier stuff is still like, oh, like you like that. Because I was reading, I was reading this article the other day. I think it was actually from the New York Times, and it was talking about, yeah, it was from their like companion magazine, The Athletic. And it was talking about like all of these athletes who are super open now about being into anime.
Yeah.
Or like a couple of guys, from a football team were like, yeah, I'm going to do like this super science celebration if I score a touchdown, or like, people are bringing manga into the locker room or
Wait, what
wearing
did you say,
t-shirts or whatever.
Andrea? Super what? You just exposed yourself as a
What?
non-Dragon Ball fan. If I'm
That's what he said.
Super Saiyan,
Saying,
yeah,
oh, excuse
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
So you know, but like all of these athletes were like, oh, I'm really attracted to like JJK or, this other
Yeah.
serious anime. And I was like, the only like cutesy person who was like ballsy enough to admit it was Jamal Williams, who is a former Packer. And he came in for like a press conference wearing like a little Eevee hat, and he was like, don't disrespect my Pokemon, man. And so I was still like, it's really cool to see athletes be so open about this, and that there's like, an actual article in a newspaper about this, but also nobody admitted to liking something like or on Host Club or like Fruits Basket or,
Sure.
so it's still like, yeah, you can like anime, but, be careful which one you talk about.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? I
Like,
mean, do
I
you
like
think it's that?
Castlevania or.
Because to me, I see it with the athletes. It makes sense because a lot of people are literally being inspired by these athletic characters. It's sort of like back in the day,
Yeah,
it would have been like a Superman or a Wolverine, maybe, or if, but that would be maybe more kept more secret or something. You see some fighters with a Superman S tattooed yet,
right.
but now it's like, yeah, I want to be Goku, and
Yeah.
they have a Saiyan thing tattooed on, or they have a One Piece something or another. Yeah,
Well, and I mean that is part of what the article said. Like I can't remember which player exactly was talking at this point, was saying, like these guys are going through battles, and like that's how I feel when I'm out in the field. Like I'm, doing battle, and it's not exactly the same, but I still get inspired watching, these like epic moments. And I was like, yeah, I totally get that's what you'd be drawn to. That's what you take inspiration from. But like I said, I still wanted somebody to just be like, I like Fruits Basket or I like
hmm
Italia, just to get it out there too. It's like, you can really be inspired. Like I loved the first season of Kaiju number 8, but yes, I still love Oran Host Club or,
yeah.
whatever. So, or I
I,
like Sword Art Online, but Fruits Basket is one of the early animes I watched, and it's awesome.
yeah, I think also it could be that it represents again how mainstream it is, because the big sort of mainstream shows are the things that casual people will watch now, like
Mhm.
normal people will watch. It's that generalized. It's
Thank
just
you, all
that
you normal
again.
people out there, not us.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, oh, it's like video games. It's not weird for someone to be like, oh yeah, I like Madden, Call of Duty, FIFA, and that's kind of what, and now Fortnite for a younger audience or something like that, and then that's what they play. And so it's not like they're
Mhm.
not mentioning other games. They're worried to mention other games that they do play. It's just like, no, that's what they play. That's it, because it's the normal popular thing.
Sure.
And so I think some of the shonen now, like it's so big that that is the normal popular thing. That's what's everywhere. That's what the friends are talking about. That's what they,
Mhm.
will air on TV, rerun on TV or whatever. And
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, because I get disappointed by when I hear people, even in Japan, I hear someone ask, what anime are you watching? What are you into? And the person will be answering these very common, normal shonen type of things.
Mhm.
And it's like that. I mean, it's just the power of those regular shows, I guess. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's always space for a show to be just like so ubiquitous and so like universally enjoyed, that everybody can reference it and everybody's watching it. Everybody's like got that thing. It's like, Game of
Yeah.
Thrones for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I totally get that. I want it to be normalized to like mention something like off the wall, offbeat, something that isn't, like the thing that everybody says, like not,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm watching JJK, but I'm watching some random other anime too. So
Yeah. No, I
but
mean, that's
it
how you
still
weed
it
out
still
the
was
real
fun.
nerds.
That's
Yeah.
true. The not normal people like us.
Yeah.
Um so I still thought it was fun though to like see that article and they were doing like a whole
Yeah.
focus on like anime in the locker room and like guys swapping manga or like checking out somebody's like patch on their backpack or the new t-shirt they got. I was like, "Ah, that's cool."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little worried about it just because, we get sort of I don't want I've said this before, I don't want the superhero thing to happen. The sort of
Mhm.
overexposure, and
Sure.
then like it becomes really big, becomes turned into live action. Someone does some of it really good, really well, like the One Piece on Netflix or something. And then you get people that they're going to enjoy that thing, and then people start catering to the audience that's going to enjoy that specific thing, and
Mhm.
then they start changing the entire industry to form around that modern popular audience now that likes
Right.
this live action thing you've made, and then you change it all and you alienate the people that got it to that point to begin with, and now everything is for the people that aren't going to go buy the comic books. They're not going to pump up those sales. I saw that Apothecary Diaries hit 18
Mm.
million copies sold now. So I think it was 18 million. Yeah. So that's,
That's
you
insane.
know, it's great. And wait, I think I'm lowballing the number here. Actually, I'm going to look it up because otherwise, I know later I'm going to
You're gonna kick
scream at
yourself.
myself or something. Yeah. Um, because I swear it was like it went up. Maybe it might have been that it went up that much since the anime came out. Like the copies of because it's light novel and then a couple of volumes of manga as well. Okay, just saw it, so bear with me. We will find it. We'll correct myself in real time. It's been lots of news. That nothing that I've been super jazz about or that I know that much about. So I didn't put anything in the show notes
Sure.
for that. Okay, 38 million. There we go.
Oh, okay. Well, you got the 8 right.
Yep.
Just a little correction on the first digit, but that's
So,
insane.
and
It's truly
since the
insane.
beginning of the airing of the anime in October, they increased the sales by 14 million.
Whew,
So
dang.
it's that symbiotic thing, that it gets everybody, yeah, consuming all the different versions. And I love it. There's some young people at my gym that, like I borrowed one girl a couple copies of a manga, and like normally you borrow someone something to read and it's like, well, they'll keep it, or whatever, or it'll be a long time. The next week read them and had them back.
Nice.
Is like
Nice.
actually interested in it and actually read it. So
Ah, making us all look bad. I have like a whole bookshelf shelf of books that I borrowed from people.
yeah. Well, books take a little longer than a manga volume, but yes,
Yes.
I mean, I have one book here that I've borrowed for sure, and I have borrowed out a couple volumes of manga, so to other
I
people.
think I think you lent me something, but I know I've gotten it back to you.
About manga?
No.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that because I remember
Oh, I know what I borrowed you. Yes, it was a Lord of the Rings magazine. It was a
Yeah.
special, like, yeah.
Yes.
Tolkien. It was really
Yep.
more about Tolkien. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Certainly did. Okay. Well, that's a fun article to talk about. Fun topic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw lots of people at the Olympics. You know, there was like a breakdown of all the people doing different references to anime and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that
yeah.
was part of the article too, like Noah Lyles and some of his celebrations and the signs that
Mhm.
he made. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, very cool.
It's just, I mean, you can find workout tops and, you know, for wrestling and stuff, a lot of anime ones. It's just like, again, notice it in gym culture. A lot of people, and a lot of people using it as
Yeah.
inspiration to like try to lose weight or, you know, turn their life around in some fashion. And so that's pretty cool. Okay. Well, what else? What have you been watching anything? We talked about, that's what we were talking about before. You watched a couple Hetalia with us.
Yes.
Anything else? Or anything that's sort of
No.
pressingly on the docket that you have to
I
watch?
mean, Terminator is definitely on the docket. I definitely got fooled by Netflix.
Mm.
In I turned it on and they had Don to Don on there, and it said new episode October 3rd. And so I thought that meant, oh my God, the first episode's already out.
Oh, a new one's
So
coming on.
so I yeah, and a new one is
Mm.
coming. So I like was like frantically searching around, and then I realized like, oh, they mean the first episode. So I was like, can you
Yeah.
just say like season premiere, please?
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me a
Right.
new episode, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
totally legit in being confused by that.
Yeah. No, if you then the date memorized, which, you know, and you never know what
Right.
things get shifted around. So
I
yeah.
didn't, or like, I mean, sometimes like wacky things happen. Like we were just talking about the Penguin release date, which is today,
Mhm.
and then which is a Thursday, and then it's shifting to Sunday. Like I thought maybe something happened, and they were like, "Surprise, we're
Yeah.
gonna have like an early peak episode." So, yeah.
Right. Well,
So
today
Netflix,
I
do
think,
not do that, please.
yeah, I
Rude.
think I'm wondering if it's the case. Maybe today's Batman Day. So I'm maybe they just released Penguin on Batman Day to just coincide, and then
I
I
like
don't
it. I
know.
mean, smart. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
But yeah, that's what I thought happened with Don to Don. And there was another movie that they were promoting, um, and a different show that they kind of just like marked a little bit funky, and I was like, I
I
don't like it.
think Dawn to Dawn is in like the first 3 episodes is playing as a movie in some cinemas.
That's fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't
That's
know
kind of
anything
cool.
about that. So
I didn't either.
yeah. Also, speaking of Netflix, which we're going to be, dealing with them tonight yet, is I just saw there's a new Korean cooking show. I know you like Great British Baking Show and all that different stuff. On Netflix, there's a new Korean cooking challenge, baking show, or whatever. So I think it's more cooking than baking, but maybe they have baking challenges too. So you were definitely froze. I don't know if you're still here, but I figured I'd keep talking at you in the assumption you were here. So, but maybe the storms took you out. I don't know. Okay, we'll keep going here. What was I? Oh yeah, the thing I was going to mention yet, and kind of bring up with Andrea before we get into my happy marriage, was because we're talking about Terminator and wanting to watch the Terminator anime. When it came out, I heard a lot of good buzz around it. You're like, this is the best thing that Terminator's released in years. And then now it's nothing. I haven't heard a single thing. And it's again my sort of argument against. Oh, looks like Andrew's back. Boom, Andrew's back. Well, I as I was telling everybody, I kept talking at you as if maybe you could hear me, just for the fun of it. But
Avatar
what
me
I
appreciates it, but real me did not hear
okay.
it.
Well, the next thing I was just mentioning was when Terminator anime came out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good buzz around it. People saying it's the best Terminator universe thing in a long time.
Mhm.
But now, nothing. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about Terminator. Why? Because all the episodes dropped all at once. So it's my
Mm.
same sort of thing. It's like, oh, yay, Mike is happy. Great. Mike is happy because he got to stay up till 2 in the morning or whatever, binging Terminator. And we'll get him on to hear his thoughts once we've watched it. But for the show, for Netflix, for the world of Terminator, no one
Mhm.
cares anymore. It's done. It was done the day it dropped, basically. It
Yep.
had a 24-hour news cycle, and that's it. So,
Well, it's on us to revive it then, John.
okay, well,
But yes, no, I get your point. I mean, yes, it is unfortunately the way of, the bingeable show now. You can do it, you can consume it, and then you're just done. Like it
yep.
doesn't have to occupy space in your brain anymore, other than when like somebody else brings it up, you'd be like, oh, I watched it. Yeah, so good. Done. That's the
I like,
conversation you can have.
yeah, I like appointment viewing, and I like if something. I don't underestimate the power of word of mouth and like
Mhm.
being in a shared moment or something. And if something doesn't have, you know, doesn't linger a bit, it's just not going to be as effective.
Mhm.
It just won't be. I think fewer people will watch the Terminator anime because it all dropped at once.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
I think you're probably correct.
so
It's
they should
it's a
do like a
gamble
binge
though. Like
date.
what?
They should do like a binge date. Say like premieres this time, weekly releases, and then just say binge date release or something, just so everybody knows like when it's done. It's going to be
Sure.
done. So for all you that cannot watch an episode at a time or every whatever, then your release date is 4 weeks from now.
Sure. So basically, you want to like recategorize the season finale and rebrand it as binge date.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could even do like, you could even do like a sort because there's not much our options in Netflix on like a smart TV app or something like that. Have
Sure.
it so you can put in your settings. I want to watch bingeable shows. I want to see bingeable shows on my list. Maybe this is a thing. It should be if it isn't. So for all the people that really need it to binge something, then they can just see, hey, all these things are done. And then
Sure.
reverse, other side of it, you could be like, these are all the things that are like we would get with Crunchyroll. These are all the things that are currently
Sure.
airing.
Sure. I get you.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if that's a setting on Netflix.
yeah. I'm yelling at the clouds and it exists. Probably.
I immediately go to Simpsons for that.
Yeah.
Old
So
man yells at
that's my
clouds.
little thing on that. But hopefully
It's
the
funny.
show.
You can sort immediately by available for download.
Okay. Yeah, you think it'd just be like a category, completed series,
Right.
anime category completed.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Completed seasons. You could even say,
Right.
I don't know.
Let's see. Coming soon. Everybody's watching. Top 10, top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's
Or
not like
you can do, yeah, available for download. But yeah, I don't see anything for
I mean,
completed
you
versus
should do that for
ongoing.
ongoing as well. Yeah, because Crunchyroll's good with that. It's nice to see. Oh, okay, this is a new thing that's happening right now. There's only 3 episodes available, so it's not a daunting thing to like catch up or whatever.
Right.
That's nice.
Huh.
But
Interesting.
okay, let's talk about My Happy Marriage. And up front, I said, not our happy marriages, though we can, we need to talk about those. We can, but the anime, and there's other versions of this. I think there is like a live action something or another too.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, this is my only. I've only been exposed to this, the anime.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have as well because I was shocked to learn that there is such a thing. Oh, looks like there's a movie. Interesting. It was a movie, a live action movie.
Okay. Let's see. We don't want
Got a
to.
decent rating, 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, I see. When I thought of that, I was like, that seems like a weird. How do you think this would be in live action? I feel like it would not probably translate all that well unless you had a
I
pretty
don't yeah,
sizable budget.
I don't love it. It's like something I feel like with Castlevania, I would hate to watch that live action. I hate it. Like there are
Mm,
elements
sure.
that just work in an animated world. Um
So you
and
don't
like
Marvel.
usually anything with like powers, especially when it's like of Japanese origin, they're usually a little bit more fantastical. Like Marvel can do powers and it can do it most of the time pretty well, but they're most of the time pretty grounded in something. Like we're moving an object or we're, casting a ray of light or, Thor's got lightning, like stuff that's like grounded in like I know what that looks like.
Sure.
You know, I can fit that in my real world. Um Stuff that I mean, and there is stuff in my happy marriage that is very
Yeah.
the same, like, fireballs, lightning
Lightning,
bolts,
fire. Yeah.
yeah. But some of like the ending kind of elements where we're getting into
Hmm.
like the dream powers and like dream sight and how that works. Like, no, I don't care to have that be live action.
Hmm. Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't think it would be improved by being live action. I think with the right budget, they could do it. It was always one of those things. Like before, I mean, that's the reason they put the X-Men leather in leather and latex or whatever, instead of spandex kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, because it's like, well, that won't translate well. And so I always kind of accepted that sort of thing. But then, Marvel and some others released like, oh, no, we can do a lot. And I just think for the normal sort of, hey, we're doing a live action version for Netflix of this thing or wherever. I just think the budget's not there. Probably will look a little cheesy and it's just better animated.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let's start with this. See you next Tuesday on screen. Sorry for
Damn, tell me how you really feel.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to think when I started this show, and I don't know why I put it on, but we happened to, and it was, it drew me in pretty fast. I was a little worried it would become like, I don't know if it's the right phrase for it, but like self-indulgent in the like torture of
Mm,
our protagonist,
sure.
But I don't think it got there, and it ended up being effectively just horrible for her. Thanks in part largely to her sister here.
Yeah, I had like a very similar stumble into this show where, I I wasn't quite sure why I put it on. I saw it and was just like, one day. Um, and yeah, it started out like very Cinderella-esque.
Yeah,
And I was kind of drawn to that. But yeah, like you said, it moved on from that quickly enough to not kind of drown in the similar feel or the like misery for our main character where it's just like, oh my God,
yeah,
can we like get out of this house, please? Like this is just too much. It's like a weird balance of like when it goes too far, it's too miserable where you just don't find it believable, and you also don't find it like believable of a main character to just like be so saintly amidst all the abuse where you're like,
yeah.
can you just like do something, be reactive, be horrible, do, I don't know. You find it like hard to believe that they are there so long. So
Yeah.
this one we got Mio out and quickly enough to be believable.
Yeah. And then not, yeah, have us languish in it too long.
Yes.
The I thought so good premise, got us out of it fast enough. Art I liked. I think
Mhm.
I'm a pretty big fan of the art. There got to be some points where the like different color halo on their hair.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so
And
glad you brought that up. I was like, why? Why are some people pink and purple? Like,
Mhm.
what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Very weird.
So I mean, I appreciate trying to do something different like that. It's just it got to be just distracting.
Yes. Yes. Like, not I'm gonna turn off this show distracting, but I definitely like
No.
look
Yeah.
at it in scenes. I would be like, there's like the band. It's very weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have just put on like the show to show in the background here, but I think Netflix immediately when you share a screen, it just like blacks out. So
Oh, sure.
we're just pulling up things of the trailer occasionally here.
Sure.
Um, so let's see. I um I really liked, I think, the first 3/4 of this show.
Okay. Yep.
I again, bought the premise. It's cool. Oh, it's great. She's finally gonna escape. There's a little bit of the dynamic between her one friend that was kind to her,
Mhm.
and she's leaving. It's a very like Twilight situation. It's like Jacob's always been there for Bella, but she's gonna go with it.
God, you had to bring up that love triangle. You couldn't have brought up any other love triangle.
I
Jesus.
don't read a lot of romance books or anything like that, so it's what I have is my touchstone.
All right.
But so that made things interesting, and then I'm one of those people that I just want it to be happy. I know the drama is important, but I just want it to be happy. So I'm happy when things are being happy, and then I'm like, okay, I can tell things aren't gonna they're gonna get not happy. How are you going to handle that? Am I going
Mhm.
to hate it, or is it
Sure.
going to be believable and stuff? And I think it was handled well for a while. We
Mhm.
had just the dynamic between her and her future new husband here. Um,
Kyoka. Mhm.
mhm. And so there was a little bit of stuff going on there, but then there was like the kidnapping. I thought that was good. So again, wrapping up dealing with um her old family,
Yeah.
that was all good. As soon
Mhm.
as we switched to her original family, her real family, that's where I started to have issues.
Mhm.
Do you have anything, you agree with that at all?
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. I liked the first few episodes because it felt like it started off this very, like I said before, it was just kind of like a different Cinderella story. And but then like crossed with like maybe another kind of fairy tale, like a Beauty and the Beast, like we're selling this daughter off to this like horrible guy. It's a
Yeah.
great way, it's a win-win. We're getting rid of her and we're getting something out of it. So like, all of that I bought. And then suddenly there was this like supernatural element to it where, her fiance was like training forces to fight this like supernatural threat. And I was like, whoa, twisty. I like it.
Yeah. Right.
So I was very into that aspect, at alongside the kind of like domestic, like, you know, little mini dramas and, finding her place, getting her confidence, experiencing love
Yep.
and care. All of the and the same for Lord Kudo, Kyoka Kudo, he's like, oh, like my fiance isn't here to kill me. or poison me. Like
Yeah.
she literally just thought like I'm gonna make him lunch or I'm gonna make him a hair tie, you know. So like
Hmm.
it was very cute to like get that alongside. Yeah, like you, I thought the kidnapping was great. It was a little stretchy to believe that, you know, the sister was just like, I think this guy's hot and I should marry him, so I'm going to torture you. But I was still kind of there. I was still like, it's sort of enough to like get me there, even though like, oh,
I mean, but it's not that he's hot. It's that she has someone that's super hot. She has anything
right? No,
that
no,
she
I
doesn't
totally,
have that she could
yes,
possibly covet.
yes. It was like a little stretchy to just believe that like because he was hot and Mio had him, that like it undid like this reputation that he had as this, you know, like
Hmm.
undesirable person. But
Sure.
so I was like, okay, but I'll still buy it because like the way everything was handled was done well.
Hmm.
And I liked the tension of like, you know, her childhood friend trying to go to his father. His father was like, "Oh, I have plans. Like, we're gonna take her back. Like, you know, I'm gonna manipulate the other daughter into taking her." Like, it just got like messy really fast, and that part felt real to me. Like
Sure.
this kind of drama that they were all like, "We all have plans. They're kind of intersecting. Like, let's just make stuff happen." That was great.
Sure.
Um,
Yep.
so all of that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed like her childhood friend kind of, you know, getting the smackdown from his dad and being like, I should probably work on myself. Um, so you know, all of that felt like, yeah. And then yes, post the, you know, Lord Kudo rescue of Mio, that's where the show started to kind of split itself and it couldn't quite find a solid focus. Um, you know, like we were just talking about her old family, her former, you know, quote unquote sister, her childhood friend, they kind of come out of this kidnapping and they're going to go do things and then we never see them again. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, like by the finale time I was sort of like, what should we check back in with them? Are they going to be a thing?
Hmm.
Are they just like
Hmm.
plot
Okay.
points that are dealt with now?" So, yeah. So there were like threads missing over there. There were some things that I felt weren't quite connecting with this new emerging storyline with the Emperor, with Mio's new original family, you know, coming to get her and like the tension of what their responsibilities were. There it just sort of like started to be too many things. So that's where the show kind of fell apart for me a little bit.
Sure. For me, it was like, well, again, we went down the path of like, okay, they're going to ruin the happy marriage. The show is called My Happy Marriage, and they're going to ruin it.
I
So
think I know
that's
what
not
drew you to
cool.
the title. Happy. You were like, "Yes, for me."
But then what I didn't like was really what ultimately came of this whole story with the Saimori family is that I was going through. I'm like, why couldn't you just be open about this? You know, it was like this shady shit with like sending glasses after everybody, and we had to fight and all this stuff, and like you'll never get rid of your nightmares, and like all this stuff. It's like, why couldn't you just be like, hey, let's I'm going to tell you the story of your family and your mother. You will feel better if you come to our place and touch a tree. You know, like and we, you know, I understand that they made a deal with the emperor. That's sort of the catch, is like made a deal because the emperor must have assumed we can get she cannot be with Lord Kudo because that's a power couple that we cannot risk dealing with.
Mhm.
So if we can get her back to her family and ensure that they keep her locked there, then we don't have to deal with it. It's an easy way to get rid of her. Okay, but she's your family. Like maybe you can be more upfront about that because you come
Mhm.
off as complete assholes. Why is she gonna want to stay there at all? You cause
Right.
all this strife. Like you can't be married to whoever. Like you cue her in. Am I missing something here? It's just like
Yeah.
it's the hold of the emperor's edict that they're not going to say things until they like have to.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very weirdly handled. Like you said, there was this whole like we're gonna take you away, you're gonna feel better. Um, you know, we're gonna have like a showdown duel over who can protect her better, which actually
Yeah,
that part made like semi sense. They don't know Kudo and they're, following the emperor's, orders or whatever. So he's like, cool, like I'm gonna show you what I can do and be how badass I am. And I kind of got it from Arata's point of view where he was like, I've been waiting for a purpose my whole life. And he was like,
yeah,
yeah, this is it. So I sort of felt his character. But again, yes, there was suddenly like this revelation when she was like, I have to go. And he's like, wait, I'm gonna tell you, like, blurt out a whole bunch of like random stuff. And I was like, that's how we're learning this information. Like,
hmm,
you made a deal with the emperor. She has to stay here. Her bloodline only marries her bloodline. Like, I'm gonna be your husband now and your protector. Like so
yeah.
many things are coming at me right now. So yeah, it felt like a fire hose of plot points and revelations that were kind of awkward. But then, because then, what, like 20 minutes later, Arata's like, oh, yeah, actually, I'm going to help you and you're going to go and here's your kimono and
That was
go
the
get Lord.
worst part. I'm like, "Wait a
What?
minute, what?"
He did like a 180.
Yes,
Like,
absolute 180.
and for
Is
literally zero reason. Like, didn't
yes,
even say anything that persuasive. Her
right.
grandfather wasn't like, you know, I made some mistakes with my daughter. I want you to be happy. Like, I thought this could work, but we're
Exactly.
gonna we're gonna defy the
Yes.
emperor and do whatever
Mhm,
the hell we want. None of that. Just
mhm.
cool, go. I
Yep.
feel like you're just gonna go, and so you should go.
I mean, if we had done a thing like,
Oh man.
like if we gone down the route of more love triangle, like she's more interested, she starts like he starts, what's his name? Arata?
Arata, yeah.
Arata. He starts, like he actually does something to protect her. They have something that he does is very important. She ends up kind of starting to care for him. We
Mhm.
need time for this to develop, but he knows that she still loves Lord Kudo
Mhm.
and that she is really, because he loves her now, she is never really gonna be happy if she's not with. So he decides that whatever may come, he
Mhm.
convinces his father or his grandfather, like we're gonna let her go. Like I will
Mhm.
be there to protect her, but this is what's right, and we don't have to be beholden to the
Yeah.
emperor or our every edict of our family's tradition.
Right.
Is that
Or
maybe that's too generic? Maybe that's too generic, but
but it would have at least made like logical sense. Like,
yes,
because I followed his character and I followed, even though I like hated her family for kind of just being like,
yeah,
you're ours now.
yeah,
And I sort of also thought like the dream site revelation was a little bit clunky. um I, like I said, I really identified with Arata wants to have a purpose. He's like, we haven't done anything for years as a family. Our
yeah,
apparent purpose is to keep other gift users in check. This is our moment. Like, we're finally doing something. I have this purpose. He said several times to Mio, like, please allow me to do this. Like, I
right.
finally found. So, if you said like one possible version of letting her go could have been, I've fallen in love with you. We care for one another, but I really see that, like, you know, your heart belongs elsewhere and you're just not going to be fulfilled here, and I love you enough to let you go. Another way could have been like, hey, I'm, kind of maybe discovering a different purpose. Like my purpose doesn't have to be like tied up into a person and like forcing you to live this role so that I can, feel
Yeah.
valued or like, you know, so it could have been like another discovery of purpose, another mission, another, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it is like, the emperor's kind of tightening down and now he wants me to like maybe kill Mio, like keeping her at the compound isn't enough. And that's wrong.
Yeah.
And so now my new purpose is
Yes.
like I have to find a way to bring down the emperor because I think, he's not protecting this land
We got to
anymore.
protect our
He's just
family. Yeah.
right. He's cruel. He just, whatever. He's gone nuts. My new mission is like protect the family, take down the emperor. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just
That'd
some,
be high
some
stakes, and it's like we're getting there now anyways. We see that at the end here where there's other
right.
people. There's like the emperor acted completely irresponsibly, and I will see to it that he like is held accountable for it's like,
Right.
whoa, I don't know who you are, but we're clearly is some so that's cool. And clearly the emperor is afraid of the powerful families, so having
Right.
them kind of actually bring his fears to life because he's pushed too far makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
And I think it would have made sense to keep Mio with like her, I think the Usuba family was
Yeah.
her original family. It would have made sense, I think, more to like keep her there and then suddenly like and not have her like basically convince her grandfather that, and Arata like, hey, I'm just gonna go to Lord Kudo, and they were just like, yeah, cool. I think it made more sense to like keep her there and like have some sort of like other thing happening with them. And then in the finale, like, oh my God, you know, Godo, um, Kyoka's like second in command comes bursting in, like, Kyoka's down, like, we've tried everything. We thought maybe you want to come say goodbye. And they're like, oh my God, Mio, you have dream sight. Like, he's instrumental in putting down these things. Like, why don't we go try to help him? Like, that could have been, and then the emperor does his thing and he tries to take them down because they're defying his orders. And they're like, ooh, like now we have the emperor to fight. That
Mhm.
would have been a more like logical flow of events, where
Yep.
here it felt like kind of just unbalanced the way that
Yeah.
this plot unraveled.
Yeah, I actually thought it seemed like they, rushed the end here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, maybe, but there's going to be a season 2. I'm like, if there was only going to be a
Yeah, it's already been
season,
announced.
yeah. Like but I mean, you don't want to make a season with the expectation that,
Mhm.
that you're not getting a season 2. If the content is there for, you have to wrap it up better then or end it sooner. Like if they were unsure of that, end the season before we get into this, going back to the
Mhm.
Saimori family stuff, so
Yep.
the resolution could be, we saved, Kudo saved Mio, and the other two are, like you say, are off to do whatever. Leave that hanging, and they're together. End of
Mhm.
season. Do people like it? They do. Great. Season 2. Here's where the next story arc
Right.
continues. Now, obviously, we don't know what the overall story is or plan, but just from this, it feels wrong and feels wrong.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, kind of what you're laying out right now. It does feel like that would have been a great place to end. Like the end the first season, like we wrapped up this like past stuff, like, um our two, supposed, I don't even know if they're still like engaged, her sister and
yeah,
her childhood friend, like maybe, I think so. He certainly
yeah,
spoke
I
to
think
her as
so.
if like we can go become new people. And
Right.
so- but yeah, I mean, we could have like checked back in with them, seen what's up, like, you know, seen what Mio's father is doing with his like totally destroyed compound and
Take that. That that was all fun. That's the kind of stuff I
that
want to
was.
see from this. I want to see this. Like, she is, Mio is in trouble. She's the damsel, but she's committed. She's like, I am not giving in.
Yep.
So seeing her progress of like improving on her her fortitude, is great. I'm
Mhm.
not giving in. Meanwhile, in the White Horse, and I get out of my way, or I'm going to fucking tear this whole thing down. Like,
Mhm.
that's what I want from this, and that was great. So we were golden until up to that point. So
Yeah, and I enjoyed that because it did show like this kind of deep, like you said, this well of fortitude of our main character. Like, I've endured all these hardships before. Like it was like kind of a mini training session for this moment where,
yeah,
I found the thing I want and you've tortured me before, so I don't need to give in. Like I
yep,
can hold fast and withstand what you're going to do to me. So yeah, like all of these things made logical sense. Um and so yeah, that felt like a natural breaking point for the series, and then we moved, to some different storylines after, but they really felt rushed, disjointed, like we were preparing for a party on one hand. We were, having these
yeah,
like grotesqueries pop up, which weren't really explained. Like, when now we have like our old new family coming in, all of these things. Like I said, I just felt like the show kind of lost its own thread here. It
yeah.
just was trying to like do one too many things
Hmm.
that didn't quite connect to.
Oh no, Andrea, you froze again. Dang it. Okay, well, yes, I agree. Um, I'll say that. Well, here, let me kick her so then she maybe, in case she doesn't know that she's frozen. All right. So then the other thing, yes, too many threads. I would say I did like how what we got to, or we got to this sort of using the dream site, going into Kudo's mind, trying to find him, face down her um kind of her dark self, her wrong mind, like face her down and like kind of dissipate that. Again, good growth, and I'm all for the sort of Professor Xavier into the mind sort of things. I like all that. That's all good. Um, but getting there was sloppy and rushed. So Andrea's back. Yeah. Um, the other thing I want to talk about, yeah, it's the other thing I can really think of. I mentioned the hair, bothering me and stuff like that. Um, but the just the side cast here. We have on the
Mhm.
screen the assistant, the homemaker, the helper, all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then we have the, Lord Kudo's sister.
Mhm.
We have her childhood best friend. It's just some of the supporting cast I like. I think they're well done, well considered, and I had fun when with Mio interacting with them, like
Mhm.
learning and them learning about her, and like the dynamics that were built up in that house then and stuff. I liked all that stuff. She's like
Mhm.
helping pick out what would Lord Kudo like, and she's going with to like etiquette training and stuff like that with his
Mhm.
sisters, and so that I like all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I could have used a little bit more. I don't probably think about, like our kind of head housekeeper here. Um but about like Lord Kudo's sister, they kind of briefly allude to, she was married once before and she regrets how it ended, and I was like, "Ooh, tidbit, like I could learn a little bit about that, and maybe it contributes to why, you know, Lord Kudo was considered, not a great catch in marriage, or like everybody was like, "Oh,
Mm,
you're going to be married to him."
sure.
Like maybe there's a thing with his family. Or like I said earlier, her childhood best friend just going off and going to start a new life, maybe with or without her sister. Um, could have just kind of checked in on them and like seen what was going on there. So I hope maybe season 2 is going to kind of reconnect us with some of those supporting characters, because I did enjoy them as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, is there anything else that has to be said about this? I mean, I say I ultimately like the ending. They're at the party now, finally, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she's got on a like kind of Western dress, and yeah, they basically reaffirm, yes, I'll be with you, and you won't
Mm-hmm.
regret it, and all this sort of thing. Are you sure you won't regret it? Yes, all that. Um, yeah, happy
Yeah, it was
happy ending. I'm kind of, if they didn't throw in that other little bit about the emperor will pay, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
I guess we can just leave it here. We dealt with a lot right now. They are getting married and they're happy. Like we got to that point. There
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Yeah, it was a cute ending, and it was a nice capstone to show like they're recommitted to each other, and the payoff from our second half storyline, because it was really dominated a lot by this etiquette training that Mio was
Yeah,
doing. So it is nice to like see that just wasn't dropped. Like, we did get to see the party.
right.
um so yeah, so it was a cute little like post credits scene. um and obviously the show is titled My Happy Marriage, so we did need to get back to like the original, like, we're getting married.
Yeah.
So it's cute. I did like the ending. I mean, I really did like the kind of like dream sequences that Mio went into, and how she and Kyoka fought their metaphorical demons and their kind
Hmm.
of real world ones, where they just said like, we made mistakes in dealing with each other, but I wanted to apologize and like know that for Kyoka, like, I promise not to try and like accidentally treat you like your old family, and for her, like, I am making a choice, and I want you to know that I am choosing you. Like, I'm not just like forced into this.
Right.
So it was good. It was things that I think that they both needed, in addition to being some cool, just scenes with each other, and showing their powers. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I thought we got like back on track. So I'm hopeful
Hmm.
for a season 2, but I do think we need to like, you know, balance plot points a little bit better in the second
Yeah.
season.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know when season 2 is coming. Have you? I don't know if you heard anything like that. If it's
Um,
mm,
I saw some guesstimates that it could be in early 2025,
okay. So yeah,
because they
soon.
announced season 2, I guess, um, in late in 2023.
Okay. Hmm.
So I don't know.
So yeah, probably sooner than we think.
Let's see. There's a recent article from July. Yeah, they're guesstimating that it's going to be sometime in 2025.
Okay. All right. Well, we got time, but not too long that we'll forget about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my happy marriage on Netflix. Um, Everybody, let us know what you think of it. We're on all the things right now. We're live on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch.
Hmm.
So yeah, any of those places you can follow us and leave comments, that sort of thing. We'll be soon covering the Penguin, the first episode of the Penguin on the regular show. So that'll be next week. Stay
Hmm.
tuned, and yeah, we'll give our first impressions of the first episode, and then I think there's like I don't know if it's a week break or something, and then it's on Sundays or something a little
Hmm.
odd about it, but yeah,
Yeah. It's like a 10-day stretch, and then it'll be airing on Sundays.
it'll give us a chance to like binge Terminator and talk about that or something in between. So
I am about to start Agatha All Along, and I freaking can't wait.
okay,
I'm
you let me
so
know.
excited.
Let me know
I will.
what you think.
I will.
Also, just want to let everybody know they should follow Mike, our friend Mike. He's
Mhm.
often on this podcast, Track Mouse 34 on YouTube.
Mhm.
He doesn't have a ton of new stuff on YouTube yet, though he does have some from the last few weeks here. It's been an uptick. There's a month ago, 4 weeks ago, and 3 days ago. But he also has more content on Instagram.
Mhm.
So if you're an Instagrammer, it's just Track Mouse on there.
Yep.
And he's always posting things there. So check it out. Yeah. Okay, I think that'll be it from us. Again, thanks for being here. Like, share, subscribe, all that sort of thing, and we'll see everybody next time. Thank you, Andrea.
Of course. Good to be here. Bye.
So you gotta finish with your water.
I
Oh yeah,
know.
I gotta
I
hit.
know.